Hey everyone, Wydek welcoming you to the final and deciding game of a best of 3 series from the WCS Europe Season 2 edition. And this time on Whirlwind. We've got spawning in the bottom left as the Red Terran, evening up the series in the previous game. Representing Mouse Sports, we've got Lucifron. And Lucifron's opponent spawning in the top left as the blue Protoss, excuse me. I don't want to Bruise, but the blue Protoss, we've got Duckdeok. And so it's going to be really interesting, I think, to see what's going to happen here on Whirlwind. The previous 2 maps were 2-player maps. First on Belgier Vestige, and then on Star Station. But it looks like this time, actually well, anyways, we're going to have to see what's going to happen in this game. We do have Lucifron spawning in the bottom left, like I said before. Now, he's very, very likely, based on the previous games, to go for that Reaper opening. But since Whirlwind does have 4 positions and it's such a large map, looks like he might not be doing that. He's going for the barracks first. Now, for Protoss players, unless you're going to be doing something very cheesy, the builds are pretty simple. Generally, 1 or 2 simulators, get the gateway, get the cybernetics core. So, I'm really interested to see what's going to happen on Lucifron's side of the map. Now, he isn't getting a refinery this time, but he did go for barracks first, just like the previous 2 games. He does have an SEV sent out, scouting. Looks like he's going to be going to that bottom right position first to see where Duckdeok is. Now, he is going to be going for that Marine, so there is no refinery out yet, and it looks like Lucifron is saving up quite a few resources here, so I do think he is going to be putting a command center at that low ground. There we go, that SEV is moving into position. Now, Duckdeok on the other side of the map does have 2 assimilators up, and once again, he only has 3 probes mining gas. I think I mentioned this in the previous game. There we go. We got 4 probes now mining from 2 assimilators. And the cybernetics core is almost finished. So unfortunately for Lucifron, his SEV was not able to scout out Duckdeok's position. And it looks like Lucifron will find Duckdeok on his last guess, which is very unfortunate. I always hate that when you're playing on any map and you scout your opponent, and it's always the last position. You just feel like, oh, dang. I wish it wasn't so, but that is the case in this matchup, it looks like. Now, Duckdeok is going to be putting down that Nexus at his natural as well, so both players are going to be going for a mid to long-range game. No proxy rushes in this one, and we do have 2 more barracks being built currently by Lucifron. Start pumping out those Marines to solidify his defense stature. Sometimes, you know, Marines are very weak, especially in the early game. They don't have stim packs, they don't have combat shields, and they fall very quickly to Zealots and or Stalkers, or a combination of both. And so Lucifron is going to be putting up that bunker at that natural ramp. Now, it looks like the SCV finally from Lucifron is going to be able to spot out Duckdeok's location. Is the probe going to be able to get that last hit? Yes! Great move by that probe, great micro, and now Lucifron does not know what Duckdeok is doing. Does Duckdeok have a whole bunch of gateways or a robotics facility? He has no idea, so that was a great pick off by that probe, and great micro by Duckdeok. Now, unfortunately for Lucifron, he's not able to return the favor, but he is able to keep that probe out of his natural. So both players are really, really curious about what the other player is doing. If we take a look at Duckdeok's vision, he only knows the bunker location, and Lucifron only knows about the Nexus and that pylon at the high ground, but that's not a lot of info. So I feel like Lucifron probably in the very near future, probably in the next minute or 2, he's generally around the 7 or 8 minute mark, there is going to be quite a few tech structures up that's going to be giving a tell as to what Duckdeok is going to be focusing on. So I feel like Lucifron might spend a scan to see exactly what structures are in Duckdeok's base. Now, we do have the Forge up now, and still only 1 gateway, but as a Protoss player, it's not unusual to wait until a little bit later and then just plop down 4 or 5 gateways all in a row. Now, Lucifron is getting more gas, and he is getting that factory up. Now, that stim pack is half finished here. So, if Lucifron wants to do something offensive here, he's not going to be doing it for quite a while. He wants to wait for that stim pack to finish. Now, Duckdeok's Observer is going to be able to scout out that natural, but for some reason is going to retreat. Looks like the Observer is going to find another route into that main base. I guess he's suspecting that Lucifron has really cat-like laser eye vision. And will be able to put down that scan and immediately spoil that Observer's entrance. The Observer is going to be able to find a way into that main base, able to see all the production facilities. And there we go, at the 7 minute 45 second mark, we do have a scan going down at the natural. Very interesting. Just seeing the pylon placement and the assimilators. Very interesting decision by Lucifron. I guess he wanted to see what the army composition might have been. Unfortunately, there wasn't really anything there. And at the same time, Duckdeok is going to be getting that third Nexus. It has just been warped in. So now, Duckdeok does have 3 bases to Lucifron's 2. And if Lucifron doesn't act quickly in the next few minutes, Duckdeok might be able to power ahead economically in this game and be really far ahead. Now, another scan does go down. Now, I'm not sure where that scan is going down. Actually, the scan does go down to pick off that Observer. Able to pick it off, as I don't see an Observer there, so I'm going to assume that Duckdeok's Observer did fall. But the SCV from Lucifron is able to spot that third Nexus. So very good scouting by Lucifron. And now Lucifron's army is going to be moving across the map. This Xel'Naga tower is very, very useless in this matchup since they've spawned so close to each other. Excuse me. And now it looks like the Marines are going to be moving up behind on the right side of this position. Another scan does go down, able to spot all these tech structures. The Colossi are going to be building out of this robotics facility. So this attack has to happen now, Lucifron thinks. He's able to take down a lot of probes. I think 7 probes went down there, 10 in total currently. And this Nexus is losing a lot of life. But unfortunately, Duckdeok is going to reinforce his position. Now this Colossi doesn't have extended thermal land, so this Colossi is not going to survive. But at the same time, Lucifron did lose a whole chunk of his army, so he is going to have to retreat. At the same time, he's still behind by about 20 supply. And even though he did kill quite a few probes, he's still behind in supply, and this Nexus is still alive. And with more and more Colossi coming out of this robotics facility, I think that is very, very unfortunate for Lucifron that he wasn't able to pick off that Nexus, because now with all these reinforcements basically being routed directly to this third base, I'm not sure when Lucifron's going to get another opportunity to target down that expansion. And if that expansion stays up, like I said, I think Lucifron is going to be really behind. Now, we do have another drop at that main. Marines are stimming down, able to pick off that 4 pylon, but not able to do much else. There's just too many reinforcements here. And it looks like Lucifron is going to try and attack that third again, but the army is split up very well for Duckdeok, so able to protect both the first and third bases. And now Lucifron is trying to find another way, because that third base has been mining for about a minute or so now, and every moment that that base is up, it's another moment that Lucifron is behind. So he either has to get his third base, or he needs to destroy one of these bases, and he's electing to be more aggressive. He's going to drop everything in the main. The Zealots and Stalkers are fleeing temporarily now, focusing down on these gateways, but with that Nexus cannon already placed, these Marines are taking additional pot shots. That extended range is just so powerful and long. And now with the Colossi coming in here with the Time Warps, these medevacs are going to be boosting away, not able to do that much damage. Supplies are fairly even. Resources lost is fairly even as well. But like I said, Duckdeok does have this third base up and running. He is mining considerably a lot of minerals and gas from this location. And Lucifron is still stuck on 2 bases. I don't see a third command center being built or already built. So I feel like Lucifron is just really committing to this 2-base attack. Now, because of the well-positioned observers, Duckdeok is able to spot that incoming army. And it looks like Lucifron is going to strike the natural instead. This may be a problem because even with the SCV pull, there are no psionic storms. But the SCVs aren't really buffering any attacks. The SCVs are going to be charging in here now. But there is a small flank attack. The Colossi are going to go down to all these Vikings. It looks like the SCVs are doing quite a bit now. The supplies are 99 to 99 apiece, so very even here. But if this attack is thwarted, I feel like Lucifron is going to lose this game outright. Templar Archives is being focused down. Sonic Storm has not even been started, will not finish. And now the Marines and Marauders are stimming into that main base, up that ramp, able to destroy that pylon, depowering a whole bunch of structures here. And now focusing down on these reinforcing Zealots as well. The Stalkers are trying to rush in here with more probes as a buffering wall. The Vikings have landed as well, focusing down on additional pylons, trying to depower all these buildings. The Vikings are in front, and they're kind of like super Marines, unfortunately with no stim, but Lucifron is taking a lot of damage, and so is Duckdeok. More and more Marines and Marauders are stimming from behind. This flanking formation is very good for Lucifron, it looks like. Now, unfortunately, we only have 2 medevacs here, and with these reinforcing Immortals and Stalkers, this is going to be very, very close. It looks like Lucifron is going to be ejecting himself from this confrontation. Supplies are 64 to 65, very close for both players, but I feel like Lucifron's units are all in the orange and the red, and without additional medevacs, it's hard to stim, but he's going to stim anyways. The units are in the red, providing additional DPS. Force Heals do go down, cutting off some of this army, but Duckdeok has to control here very well. So does Lucifron, but I think Lucifron is falling behind here slightly. He is down by 6 supply at the same time. The third base is still mining, and remember, he lost all those SCVs from that initial SCV pull, and now it's really, really all in here. He's got so many SCVs pulled, trying to rush down this natural base. The Immortal is going to be destroyed. There we go. The Immortal is destroyed. Probes are pulled off the line as well. A force field is down, but with that one Colossi doing some really, really big splash damage, Lucifron is down by almost 30 supply here. Lucifron is going to have to give up. GG, well played. Wow, very exciting last few moments of that game. It felt like Lucifron could have won that game. It could have went either way, but with that Colossi reinforcing that position, and I really felt like once that third base was up, at this point, it's about 6 minutes where it's been mining. Look how many more resources his opponent, Duckdeok, was able to get. If you take a look at resources lost, Duckdeok actually lost way more resources by about 20%, but he's been able to mine much more than Lucifron, so he was not able to get back into this game. Lucifron relying too heavily on 2 bases, and unfortunately is going to lose this series. So Duckdeok is going to win 2-1. Very, very good play by both players, and I hope to see you guys next time.